We have this misconception that our co-parent, regardless of whether or not that co-parent lives in the same home as us, needs to parent the same way that we do in order for our kids to thrive. And it's kind of funny because if we think about other things in our lives and other things that we do, from tying our shoes to looking for a job, we can agree, I think, that there are lots of ways to go about it to have success. And I want to plant the seed in your mind that that's actually true for parenting as well. You don't have to do it the same way in order for your kids to turn out great and have great lives and thrive and all the things we want for them. Kids are actually super flexible. I remember when I was a kid, I think I had one friend whose parents were married, but there were lots of us who were navigating two different households with two different parents and two different step families and all the things. And we did fine. We were able to understand that there were certain rules or ways that we needed to behave or expectations in one household, and then there were different ones in another. We didn't have trouble with that. And I see that with my clients as well. I've worked with plenty of families of divorced or separated parents where the stakes were really high, right? There was aggression going on. They were going back and forth. There was generally, and especially in the family I'm thinking about, there was a dad who was very conservative in his discipline approach. And then there was a mom who was more leaning into what I was doing. And she was really concerned that her kids were going to struggle, that the aggression wasn't going to stop, that they were going to just have a really hard time in life because dad wasn't parenting the way she was. And I really encouraged her to let go of trying to control what he did, look for the good in him, all of those things, and just focus in on what she could do, because she had a real gift for being able to be present and allow her boys to emote, have big feelings, have their upsets when they were with her, so that they could keep it together better at dad's house where they weren't able to show those feelings because they understood that he wasn't able to handle those. As long as you're able to find a community like she was able to do and be with other people who are navigating situations like this so that you have the confidence to keep on keeping on, your kids are going to be fine. They really are. You need to remember, as long as you're getting the support that you need to show up in ways you feel good about and stay connected to them, they're going to be just fine. Sometimes, in fact, different styles of parenting can be useful. One example that I love to share is a personal one. My partner struggles with weight issues and food issues, not something that I struggle with. But what that means is that I step in when there are questions about food. Well, now the kids are grown, but when they were younger and there were questions about food, I would be the one to step in. We had an agreement about that. So we were in the same household, but he acknowledged, okay, this is not an area where I think clearly, and I would step up and he would allow me to step up in that situation. At the same time, there are situations that he does much better with, mainly, well, a lot of different ones, but when it has to do with fear, worrying about their health or their future or something like that, I can spiral and he can stay really, really clear and optimistic and positive and focus on the practical. And that's really helpful for me. So when I need to break in those stressful situations, I can step back and he can move in and parent in a way that our kids feel safe and comfortable, and I'm not then spilling my worry onto them. So in this case, and I'm sure, and I want to encourage you to think about this in your own relationship or relationship with your ex, where are there areas where perhaps your ex or your partner can do things better than you? And where are the places that you're better than they are? Like maybe you're really good at play and they're really good at listening. Maybe they're really good at limits. Maybe you're really good at being silly. Whatever it is, just notice where each of your strengths are and play to your strengths. Why not? Another thing that I found works really well is to let whoever's parenting parent. I'm working with a couple right now who is just learning this, who's just trying to figure this out. They're getting into a lot of conflicts where one or the other of them is present when the siblings start to fight, and then when the other parent comes in and starts to interrupt and take over, then there becomes a battle of the parents rather than just the initial challenging situation of trying to help their kids through the sibling conflict. And so what I'm coaching them to do is to really respect that the other is capable of parenting in that moment. And even if it's not the way that they would parent, that's okay. If they need to move out of hearing distance so it doesn't bother them, that's fine. Or perhaps if they need the reassurance that the parent who's with the child will call for help if they need help. Sometimes they'll create a code word or some way to ask for help. That can often also ease the stress of the parent who's not in the situation in that moment. But the bottom line is we just want to let the other parent parent, even if they have a different parenting style. Maybe one of them sends on timeouts. One of them knows how to stay and listen to the big feelings. It's okay. It's not the end of the world if both parents can't listen to feelings. A child just needs one place to be able to offload those big feelings. If they can do that with one parent, great. It's really, really okay. I'd rather you preserve your relationship with your child's other parent than fight for whose method of parenting is better or right. I found that it makes sense to really focus on appreciations of your partner or your ex for what they do well. And I know that this can be really challenging when you feel like you know the right way. And I see this oftentimes when people are first leaning into a new way of parenting that feels exciting and like an answer to them, that the tendency is to try to make their partner or their ex do it their way because it feels like the right way. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work to put pressure on your co-parent to parent differently. So instead, lean into appreciating them for what they do well. Ultimately, your goal is the same. Your paths might be different, but your goal is the same. You want your sweet boy and your kids to thrive. You want what's best for your child or for your children. You can parent differently from your child's other parent, and your child will thrive. I promise you that. You just need to take care of yourself. You need to nurture that relationship and lean into connection-based strategies. Appreciate each other. Play to each other's strengths. It's all going to be okay, even if you have different ways of doing things. If you feel like you tend to fall into that reaction trap more often than not, where you're just jumping and not really thinking about how you want to respond to your children, I want to encourage you to click on the next video and I will help you figure out how to avoid that.